Now this is a really interesting question. Who knows what depression is? When I passed the MRC Psych, which was many years ago now, that was when the first time I realised, it clicked one day during my revision what depression was. And before that, in my first 6 months of psychiatry, I had no idea. I diagnosed some people with mild, some with moderate, some with severe. Some consultants, well, when I started, I think I had 5 or 6 locums in 6 months. They were the days when there were lots of locums circulating. And I didn't learn in 6 months what depression was, which is amazing. And actually, ever since the MRC Psych, I've been asking this question of everyone. Do you know what depression is? And, sorry?
It's the angle of detonation below the horizon.
Excellent.
When shipping companies got going in the 15th century.
That's good.
Below the horizon.
But this question is a really valid question, and actually, if you go out there and you ask a lot of junior doctors, nursing staff, lots of different people, you ask them what depression is, and they're sort of a bit stuck. And one of the things I've realised over the years is, people come to you and they say, we've got this patient, could you see him, or what do you think? And I'll ask the question, is this patient depressed? Well, I'm not sure actually. Okay, what symptoms do they have? Well, they're not sleeping so well, they're a bit agitated, they've been a bit tearful, and generally look a bit down. Okay, are they depressed or not? What's their mood like? And sometimes it might be, well, I forgot to ask about the mood. Which is a really sort of core question, you might think. But, so actually, I'm going to pass this question out to everybody else. Could somebody tell me either the DSM-4 or the ICD-10 criteria for depression? We're a mental health trust.
The 9 criteria?
Could anybody tell me the criteria? I'd be really obliged if they could.
Depression of mood, you will have impaired sleep, impaired energy, impaired concentration, decreased self-esteem, suicidal ideas. So that's the core one, and you can have psychotic type symptoms.
Is the ICD-10 or DSM-4?
You will have, that's ICD and DSM, they share some.
No, in ICD-10 there are 3 core symptoms.
Yeah.
Anybody know the 3 core symptoms?
Lack of enjoyment is one of them.
Good. No, that's not one.
Lack of energy.
Sorry?
Lack of energy.
Lack of energy is another one.
And depressed mood.
And depressed mood, excellent. So I'm really grateful for that. That's really good. But this is amazing, yeah? We see people, all our teams, junior doctors, and believe you me, they've even been consultants. There've been many who you ask, and they sort of, and as an SBR, I've brought this issue up with consultants as well, and they've brought somebody, I've took a patient to them to discuss, I think this is severe depression. And I'm like, well, what's that kind of based on? Well, it just seems that way from the flavour of what you've told me. I'm like, well, the symptoms don't really suggest that. I've been asked to look at, because I've done the MRC side by then. Well, these should be the symptoms. So, maybe this isn't. No, I think it is. Is that good enough for our patients? So, the thing is, I trust myself and I trust all my colleagues and everything, but I've seen some really bad management practices over the years. I've read the notes and patients have had diagnoses which are completely wrong. They've been on medications for 10, 20, 25 years for completely the wrong diagnosis. And sometimes I think, do we sometimes mess up people's lives, all them years back if we'd made the correct diagnosis? And this worries me. So I think with me, the whole thing about the map is there needs to be some basic minimum, some basic thing that we all agree by, that the treatments that we can provide for our patients. The next one, please. Oh, right, this is just an example. Right, I hope she doesn't mind me using her name. So please ignore that bit. Okay, so this is my junior doctor who started her first 6 months both in psychiatry. She has no previous experience of psychiatry. She does not know, I shouldn't say this about her, but she doesn't know much psychiatry, let's just put it that way. Okay? And she was we had the first supervision last week, and she's quite stressed because she had to do the weekend on call, and she's also got a week of nights coming up. I was like, what do I do, Dr. Sadiq? I actually don't know any psychiatry. where do I start off from? And then I try to give a very, very quick thing. Well, there's only 3 or 4 things. You just have to work out what the risk is and whether to send them home or to keep them in. This is the key question that you've got to answer when you're on call. Oh, thank you for that. I don't think that helped her very much. And she's got sort of clinics, and this doctor's basically very scared and doesn't really know what to do. She's tried to read the textbooks, but they're sort of helpful, but they're not, because they're not very practical. So if you read the Oxford textbook of psychiatry, it will tell you the symptoms of depression and the management, but not in a cohesive way that would allow you to manage patients. Could you go to